Hi, it's Chris Watkin here with the next ICG webinar, and we are joined today by the UK property industry's cream of prop tech industry and estate agents. And we're here today to talk about what this new second lockdown will mean for UK estate agency. Today is Tuesday the 3rd of November, and hopefully this video will be going out pretty soon after this. So what I'd like to do is start off with Iain White. Iain, where did estate agents go wrong with the first lockdown? I know things are a little bit different this time because we're allowed to work in the background, but obviously, and evaluations still can take place, but I think the numbers will probably go down because of lockdown. What could estate agents be doing with this time over this next month to really set themselves up for 2021? Talk to me.
I'm the one that didn't unmute. I think to answer your question, your first question, Chris, in relation to what did agents do wrong? I think in the main the industry handled the first lockdown very well. I think there was some great quickness of thought, you know, some very serious decisions made and some very quick able thinking went on. I think the big decisions they might have got wrong is how they came out of lockdown and how they immediately, in the main, reverted to the old processes. I think that was the biggest mistake I've seen. And I hope if this lockdown gives us anything at all, is that those things like the virtual viewings, the virtual valuations, I really do hope that agents realise that they're empowering them to take their time back and that they're not tools to be used in disaster management. They're tools that should be used regardless, full stop. I also think that possibly some agents cut everything to the bone. And I think whilst it's right to be reviewing your cost base, I think right now, the one I wouldn't be cutting is my marketing and me keeping me front of the consumer's mind. I think I would be actually spending more and investing my money in showing off my expertise, making sure people knew what was going on, communicating possibly my successes, and communicating other various factors. And I think that could be a mistake that we will see repeated, where agents just go quiet and out of sight, out of mind. And in doing so, we'll find that they're storing up a bigger problem when we eventually all return to normal and everything gets back, that they just won't be the agent that people turn to. So that would be my advice, would be front of mind, over communicate, get on board with the right suppliers and make sure you're pushing out your expertise, your knowledge, and be doing a lot of it.
Okay, let's go to Kristjan Byfield in London, who is an agent himself. Going into lockdown, how are you finding the market, the demand for properties, and how do you think that will change?
So, I mean, I think as most people know, we're primarily a lettings agency. So, you know, lettings in London has definitely been an interesting journey the last few months. I mean, obviously we had the sort of instant lockdown, but, you know, sort of recovering out of that. We've had some really, really strong months, but it's definitely a different market. There's a lot more work involved. We're finding there's a lot more involved with putting a deal together. You know, being a tenants market with softer rents, it's not just softer rents. Tenants are also seizing this opportunity, and we're getting quite extreme demands that come with an offer of, you know, full repaint, new furniture, new light fittings, garden redone. We're seeing things in a stronger market we wouldn't even contemplate. That we're taking to landlords now, and really the deals that are getting done by and large are the landlords who were taking costs like that on their chin and getting their properties into the best standard. So, you know, that's definitely been an interesting shift, and we're currently working sort of the shared household market, because that's been really hard hit in London, and we're sort of trying to work with landlords to sort of reinvent themselves on that respect. So sort of 3 beds, we're now trying to talk to landlords about marketing those as a 2-bed with a home office. So we're definitely, you know, having to transition how the market works in this time.
Okay, let's go to Andy Soloman. You have your sentiment tracker. What's been happening in the last couple of months with regard to that? I mean, more in the last couple of weeks in October.
It's been more of the same, really. I mean, we hit massive peaks and a huge boom, as everyone knows. There's huge surge in demand. And sentiment of people wanting to get moving quite early on, as the first lockdown was eased. over the last 7, 8, 9, even 10 weeks now, we've been seeing a gradual decline. But it's important to say that right now, as of the end of last week, it was Sunday night, we're still looking at vendors and buyers being up more than 30% on the same week last year. Now, of course, we are comparing that to a period when we were going into all the Brexit shenanigans. So you've got to be a little bit cautious in looking at that. But the lines are heading south. And agents now really going into this, don't forget, this is just England, Wales and Scotland and Northern Ireland have different rules, and they will be coming in and out of restrictions at different times. But essentially, it's not going to be just about continuing to make hay while you can. There's the forward planning now is going to be absolutely critical, because we don't know how far the slowdown, the normal seasonal slowdown is going to go. And then we don't know whether the uptick in January, which would normally come, which even came this year after, before COVID, is going to come in as well. So the wise agents right now are going to be thinking digital. They're going to be thinking their customers are going to be less likely to be coming to see them. They've got to go to the places where their customers are going to be. And as we're all whiling away our time at home online, agents need to be thinking about how they reach those people. It's a movable feast. It's a very uncertain outlook. There's clearly opportunity there for the very, very best agents. They've just got to make sure they focus in the right areas. Okay, let's go to Maria. What have you got to say? And please unmute.
Yeah, so from the technology perspective, I think as we've said, we're all coming into a quieter time soon, and everybody's reflecting on what they need to do to keep things going. I think just really wanted to highlight, obviously I come at this from a telecoms perspective, but I think it's the same across the board with any software, is that now is the time to look at improving efficiencies and looking at where you can save money. And I think 9 times out of 10, the two can come hand in hand. So I know, if we go back to the first lockdown, lots of agents just made do with the technology that they had in place, knowing really that they possibly weren't working in the best way, but making the best of it. And I think now is the time when we're going into another lockdown, and obviously with things slowing down towards the end of the year, to actually really take the time to look at what technology you're using and what you can do better and differently. It's without doubt any new technology, and obviously telephones included, you will get a better a better level of service if you look at what's available in the market and update.
Okay, let's go to Gary MacDonald from Sprift.
Thank you. Morning, everyone. Yeah, just to add to that, I think this is a perfect opportunity for agents now to be recontacting people electronically, no doubt, and getting a correct message out, offering personal assistance to people that require assistance. I saw a lot of that in the first lockdown. So the correct sort of message, not a, here we are, we're the best, but, what can we do to help you at this time?
Good stuff. Bradley, and then we'll go to Ben after that. Be brief, but what have you got to add to that?
Well, I was just going to say that the first lockdown showed how agencies could scale down their staff and their resources fairly quickly. But what they needed to do was then invest strategically on the prop tech side and the more nimble ways of scaling back up again. Because when lockdown lifted, then suddenly there was this mad rush to try and cope with the volume that had been released when lockdown lifted. And a lot of them struggled with that scale up. So take the opportunity now to put the right investments in technology and scaling in place.
Good stuff. Final words, 30 seconds with Ben Sellers.
Yeah, I just would say that now we're all committed to using these virtual environments. It's definitely worth, your teams rehearsing how to make best use of when you've got someone on a video. You can share screen, you can have a whole raft of different software you can be jumping through, and that will definitely bode well for you.
Thank you for your time today, everyone. We'll see you on the next ICG video, where we'll be talking whether estate agents can run without high streets and the power of content marketing. Thank you for your time today.